Right now on your news at noon, a woman shot in front of her children on the city's northeast side. We've got the latest details from investigators on the scene.
Plus, police arrest 2 people after they break into North Star Mall with diamonds on their mind. How they managed to get inside and the charges they now face.
We've been through a soggy stretch. Will the rain chances continue? And what does Memorial Day weekend look like? We'll look ahead coming up.
Live from KSAT 12, the news at noon starts right now.
And we begin this afternoon with family, friends, and members of the bicycle community gathering to rally for justice at the Bexar County Courthouse.
This after 43-year-old Beatriz Gonzalez was struck and killed by a suspected drunk driver back in early April. Demonstrators saying they want justice not only for the 47-year-old mother of 2, but for other bicyclists whose lives have been taken as well.
We want justice. So far, there's been so many cyclists, Tito, the doctor, and we want to make sure that they get justice right now, as well as Beatriz Gonzalez, because that's what we want. We're not going to let this go by again and let time forget. That's what they want us to do. They just want us to be here and just forget about everything and move on, but we're not going to do that. We want justice, and we're going to fight to the end.
San Antonio police say Gonzalez and other bicyclists were riding along the 1400 block of St. Mary's Street when she stopped on the sidewalk to wait for her group and was hit by a car. Police say the accused driver, 24-year-old Samantha Castillo, jumped to the curb. Nearby firefighters who heard the crash tried to help, but they were unable to save Gonzalez. Castillo was charged with intoxication manslaughter. Also new at noon, police are hoping you can help them track down a man they say used a Molotov cocktail to start a fire back in December. Police say at the Williams Brother construction located on Horrell Drive back in December 8th. They also say the suspect damaged nearby vehicles by stealing catalytic converters. Then he took off. Call Crime Stoppers if you have any information about this case at number 210-224-STOP.
An absolute tragedy. That's what San Antonio Police Chief William McManus has to say about a deadly shooting that happened on the city's northeast side today. It happened at the Belden apartment complex in the 5700 block of Harlow Drive between I-37 and Walsham. McManus says the victim was taking her 3 children to school before she was shot. Stephen Cavazos explains what investigators believe led to her shooting.
It's a daily routine for most parents, getting your kids dressed and taking them to school. But for this San Antonio mom, things took a deadly turn when she was shot and killed, her 3 children in the car with her. This all happened just after 7 this morning. San Antonio police arrived to find the 28-year-old woman had been shot while she was behind the wheel. But the person who pulled the trigger was nowhere to be found. Chief Willie McManus says after speaking to witnesses, police were able to find the person believed to be responsible.
We learned his identity and backtracked him to his home address, which is just a few blocks from here.
McManus says that man is the estranged husband of the victim, and he's been arrested multiple times over the last 3 years. He was out on bond for violating a protective order. McManus now questions.
How do we make victims feel secure coming for help after this?
The chief expressed outrage that the accused shooter was able to be out on bond after several violations. McManus says one of the goals of the protective orders is to make the victims feel safe, but he believes this deadly shooting is proof something needs to change.
And if we can't do that, then we failed. We have failed as a criminal justice system.
No names have been released at this time. McManus does say that the 3 children are currently staying with their grandmother. Of course, we will continue to follow this story both on air and online. Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News.
Locked doors meant very little to a pair of burglars who wanted to get inside North Star Mall. San Antonio police say broke right through a glass door overnight and made their way inside the mall near Loop 410 in San Pedro. And as Katrina Weber reports, quick work by police brought their crime dreams to an end.
It should have been locked up tight, but a glass door to North Star Mall was wide open, shattered, when San Antonio police responded to a call from security around 3:30 this morning.
The cameras inside caught 2 suspects inside. The security officer drove to this part of the mall right here and noticed that the glass had been damaged.
It wasn't long before police had caught them too, a man and a juvenile, still in the act of what officers say was a destructive rampage. They found at least a dozen businesses with significant damage. Most of those were kiosks, which police say had been torn apart.
They tried a couple of registers, they broke TVs, they broke a couple of other items from the kiosk themselves for apparently no reason.
At one business, it seems jewelry was the target.
One of them was able to slide underneath one of the metal railings, so they did make entry, and they were apprehended with actual objects from inside of the jewelry store itself.
All told, police say they found about $2,000 worth of jewelry on them, merchandise that officers put back in the owner's hands. But they gave each of the suspects a pair of bracelets, handcuffs, for the ride to jail. While police were able to bring a quick end to this crime, it seems like the cleanup might take a bit longer. For starters, the mall will have to replace all the broken glass on that door. Reporting from the north side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Happening today, CPS Energy meeting to talk about a possible rate increase. In a recent company presentation, they said that there was a need to increase rates before the COVID-19 pandemic and the February winter storm. The company says this would be its first rate increase since 2014. The meeting will be streamed online today at 1 o'clock. It's a story we will be following closely in our later newscasts and on KSAT.com.
Today is the first day of early voting for the runoff elections here in San Antonio, and there are several races taking place. Voters will head back to the polls to decide races in districts 1, 2, 3, 5, and 9. Election day is on Saturday, June 5th. Right now on KSAT.com, we've got everything you need to know about the candidates, the races, and the polling sites. Just click on the menu tab on our homepage and look for the Vote 2021 section.
New COVID cases are at the lowest level we've seen since June as more Americans get vaccinated.
But the CDC is now looking into whether there's any link between the shots and extremely rare cases of vaccinated young people who developed inflammatory heart disease.
ABC's Faith Abube is in Washington with more.
The CDC is reviewing more than a dozen cases of young vaccine recipients who experienced inflammation in the heart. It happened within 4 days after getting a COVID shot. The rare condition is called myocarditis. Current data shows only one case occurring in more than 5 million vaccinations, meaning you're many times more likely to get struck by lightning. Symptoms include chest pain and fatigue. The condition usually goes away without treatment.
They're trying to investigate to see if they're related at all to the vaccine. At this point, there is no relationship proven.
Health experts stress there isn't a higher percentage of myocarditis in vaccinated young people than would normally occur in the general population.
At this point, there's nothing to raise concern. This is telling me that the system is working. From my perspective, the risk of COVID is so much greater than any theoretical risk from the vaccine.
So far, nearly 128 million Americans have been fully vaccinated. 2 CDC maps showing just how far this country has come in its fight against the virus. The red parts on this map showing COVID cases in January, a stark contrast to just last week.
It feels great to be out.
In New York, vaccinated Americans slowly returning to pre-pandemic life. 15,000 fans packing Madison Square Garden to watch the Atlanta Hawks beat the New York Knicks in a playoff game. Officials say 90% of those inside fully vaccinated. The rest required to wear masks and socially distance.
We haven't been in the garden in so long, so it's just nice to get that energy back.
Meanwhile, a report in the Wall Street Journal about the origin of COVID-19 says researchers at a lab in Wuhan, China, fell sick enough to go to the hospital in November 2019 before the virus was publicly known. It's unclear whether they had the virus. However, the secrecy of the Chinese government is fueling speculation that the virus originated in that lab. Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
If you still haven't gotten your COVID-19 vaccine, you can get one today with the help of Metro Health. Today's event is at the Knights of Columbus Hall on Ray Ellison Boulevard until 6 o'clock. If you show up, you may receive one of the new KSAT medals. Fiesta medals. There are also other medals coming, and they're all on a first-come, first-served basis for the first 500 people who get vaccinated at each event. There's going to be a KSAT medal, an SA Live medal, an Adam Caskey Thermometer Thursday medal, a Texas Eats medal, and your Weather Authority Weather Authority medal. You can find locations and times for all the events right now on KSAT.com. U.S. home prices are now hitting record highs, still ahead why real estate experts say they are getting more expensive and what the housing market is expected to look like as the year goes on.
And a lefty still has it. Phil Mickelson has made history because of his golf and the fans. Coming up.
And after the break, a push to get more students involved in STEM at a younger age. The in-person opportunities for students at the San Antonio Museum of Science and Technology.
Local leaders optimistic about the technology industry here in San Antonio. And with summer just around the corner, there is a push to get more students involved in STEM at a younger age.
Max Massey shows us the in-person opportunities for students at the San Antonio Museum of Science and Technology.
One of our robotics companies that started here actually just got a $30 million contract.
Robotics, cybersecurity, video games. The San Antonio community is full of opportunities.
What we really want to do is put students on the pathway to STEM jobs.
And this summer, SAMSAT, the San Antonio Museum of Science and Technology, is helping students get a foot in the door.
We are going to have live summer camps this summer.
We have 2 different space camps, one that talks about the future of space and where we're going to be, and one that talks about the history of spaceflight.
There is also video game development, photography, and cybersecurity.
Give you some basics and maybe help you teach everybody else in your family about cybersecurity.
And we are here at SAMSAT Cyber Command, where students can go from designing cybersecurity plans to, get this, designing and building interactive maps. A local student built this. You can move the sand, and then the programs with it help build a topography map. This is just some of the cool and amazing stuff being done here by local students right here at SAMSAT.
We can take this message of STEM education, economic development, the security of students and families and communities, their financial security, and really make a big impact.
If you have any questions about the programs or the scholarship opportunities, we have all that information right now. Just head to KSAT.com. Max Massey, KSAT 12 News.
Those look so cool, all those projects.
Looks like a lot of fun. Rain, go away.
The sun's out, right?
Sun's out for now, but it is helping to create more showers and storms. We're starting to see stuff show up on radar, so just a heads up there. We're going to see more scattered activity today, some scattered downpours. The aquifer has been responding nicely. It's up half a foot today to 667 even. That's a great number. We're above average now. And in your pollen count, downside to all that rain, mold is in the very high category. It's at 13,720. We'll take a look at the radar when we come back.
Never miss a story. Watch live or when you want. San Antonio's latest news and weather, streaming free on KSAT TV.
We just wanted to give you a brief mention. We are following breaking news at this hour. San Antonio police say at least one person was shot in the 1500 block of Upland Drive just before noontime, just before we went on the air. It's unclear the condition of the person. We don't have too many details about the suspect either. We do have a reporter live at the scene coming up just a little bit later in our show.
Right there around Commerce and East Houston Street is where this scene is located, right across the street from the Wheatley Heights Sports Complex down there. So if you're familiar with that area, that's where this is happening if you see a lot of activity down there.
And again, we will have an update in just a few minutes. We do have a reporter on the scene. We also have a very tired meteorologist on the scene.
Well, it has been a busy stretch, but you know what? We're thankful for the rain. We don't want too much of it, of course. We've had a few flooding issues here and there, but so far it has just been good rain for us. So let's look at the radar right now. We've got some showers and a few storms trying to show up around Hallettsville, Schulenburg, just northeast of Gonzales, and we're also seeing some activity starting to bubble up here in San Antonio. So after some pretty good heavy rain this morning, we're starting to see some more downpours. These are fairly small, not really packing a punch here. This is just going to be rain. We're not detecting any lightning strikes, but right along 281 there on the south side, starting to approach 410, and then near Palo Alto College near 35 and 410. That's where we're seeing some of the better downpours. This is probably going to work its way up towards Lackland here in the next 5 minutes or so, so expect a downpour there. There's going to be more wet roads. We've also got another little cell trying to develop here that will probably work its way up towards China Grove here in the next, say, 20 minutes or so. And we'll see more of this as we continue throughout the afternoon. There's enough heating out there now that we're going to start to get these pop-up showers and downpours, and the atmosphere is still fairly tropical, so they're going to put down some decent rain. Did the rain wake you up last night? Did for me. A lot of lightning and thunder out there, and we picked up about an inch and a half at the airport since Friday. So we're adding in Saturday and Sunday here to this morning's rainfall. But the numbers have been very healthy. 2.07 Gonzales, 2.87 in northeast DeWitt County, Hallettsville 1.84, Floresville 0.33, Seguin 0.83. You get the idea here. As we zoom in on San Antonio, there was a nice little swath right along I-10 this morning. Medical Center saw over 2 inches. Downtown, over 3 inches of rain since Friday. So this has been healthy. I know we're kind of getting to the point where we're a little waterlogged. It is going to dry out some as we get later in the week. As we look at rainfall for the year, 13.2 inches. We are now above average and doing pretty well as we head into the summer. Satellite pictures shows that we've got those pop-up clouds trying to develop, but it's mixed in with some sun. And temperatures now up to 82 in Castroville, 81 Randolph, 79 San Antonio, 75 Bernie Stage, 82 Carrizo Springs, and 85. One of the warm spots right now in Cotulla. And it's so humid out there, it's going to feel a little bit warmer than that air temperature. 2 points are in the low 70s. Extremely sticky, not a surprise. A lot of moisture in the soil and a lot of moisture still coming on board from the Gulf of Mexico. 79, mostly cloudy at the airport. South-southeasterly winds at about 6. And there's sort of a bigger picture here with the clouds and these showers that are picking up even more so east of Gonzales out towards Houston, where there's some very heavy rain this afternoon. Here's what the forecast looks like. Scattered showers and storms, more downpours through the 4 o'clock hour. And then things will quiet down as we get into tonight. We will watch what happens out west. There's a very small chance that some storms out west could work their way towards Del Rio and Eagle Pass, but most of that will likely die down. Some showers again tomorrow morning, some more downpours, but it becomes isolated during the afternoon, and I really think we'll see less activity tomorrow. And again, we'll watch what happens out west, but most of that's going to die down before it makes it into our area. Long term, high pressure begins to edge in. You know what that means. More heat and drier weather. There is one little disturbance that works around the ridge and could bring us a shower or two, maybe a thunderstorm on Saturday. But other than that, it's a pretty quiet forecast. 40% chance of rain today. Temperatures up near 82. Southeasterly winds 5 to 15. We'll go 85 tomorrow, 30% chance, 20% shot on Wednesday. We're near 90 Thursday and Friday with quiet conditions and another slight chance on Saturday, guys.
Wow, it'll be nice to get a break.
Yeah.
A big weekend for soccer for SAFC. We got the highlights for you coming up. It was a win for all the 50-somethings. Phil Mickelson arriving at the Ocean Course in South Carolina, having the final round of the PGA, making history yesterday. The course is tough, left you making it a little tougher, but then he got to the 5th hole and did that. Chipped it out of the bunker right into the holes. Even par for the day. It's on the front, gets it going big time on the back. Approach on the 10th hole. This is a par 4. Ooh, not bad. A little spin on there always helps. Birdie to move to 8 under on that hole. 4 strokes ahead of the field. Go to the 18th. Phil's got a 2-stroke lead. He hits his approach on the 18th. That's dead center of the green, and that's exactly what he needed. And then look at the crowd behind him. That's history making right there, because they don't normally let that happen on the PGA Tour, but it did yesterday. They were mobbing him. Brooks Koepka was the only one guy close. He couldn't do anything. Phil in, champion. 6 times now, 2nd PGA championship for Phil at age 50. Another history-making moment for Phil Mickelson. After a tough loss last week, San Antonio FC back home at Toyota Field. One advantage you can always have is setting the tone early. They did that. Midfielder Jose Gayos in the starting lineup for the first time this season. His shot ricocheted right to Santiago Pinu for the first goal of the match. Only a minute in, Patino has scored 4 goals in 5 matches this season, the fastest scoring pace of any striker in franchise history. San Antonio FC won it 2-1. First goal changed the complexion of the entire match for San Antonio FC. So now they get ready for another one at Toyota Field. Next Saturday, they'll take on Rio Grande Valley FC. And Fiesta's here. The Spurs aren't the only ones with those jerseys to celebrate the annual event. Fans can now get some San Antonio Fiesta-themed gear from SAFC. They announced the club's 3rd alternate kit for the season, which features the traditional Fiesta colors. We've seen back in the day with the Spurs. San Antonio FC will wear the jerseys several more times to go along with their new Viva Nights at Toyota Field. You can buy the jerseys at the Soccer Factor or the team's homepage. Pretty cool. Like those.
Those are really cool.
Pretty nice. Getting ready for the big party coming up.
Get ready for Fiesta, y'all. A new study finds that U.S. women, I thought it said us women, U.S. women are starting menopause later and later. Thank you for not making it us. And still ahead, what this means for American pregnancy trends.
And world powers are accusing the nation of Belarus of an act of terrorism. What this means for who may call Europe's last dictator. There is a heavy police presence at an apartment complex on the city's east side. Around 11:30, police were called out to the Antioch Village apartments in the 1500 block of Upland.
Max Massey has been on the scene live gathering information. Max, what can you tell us so far?
Well, right now, police telling me at least one person shot. They were put in an ambulance, taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. And we know that person shot at least one time, but you guys mentioned that heavy police presence. I'm going to step out of the way, take a look at what we're seeing. It appears as though the action is revolving around Building 11. We were much closer earlier. We got pushed off the property. The property manager said they wanted media off. I spoke to police a few moments ago. They appear to be still searching for the person responsible for the shooting. We did see the chopper out early. It appears detectives are now on the scene. A lot of officers surrounding the apartment complex, trying to figure out what exactly led to this and still trying to figure out who exactly is responsible. And we're going to be out here for a while. We are still waiting for the police to brief us on all of the details that they have right now. They're still trying to organize, trying to figure out what exactly is coming up next. But we're going to be here on the scene, so we make sure to stay with us online and on air as more information becomes available. David, Ursula.
Thank you, Max. We also are working this other breaking story. San Antonio police are looking for a missing teenager who has a known medical condition. 14-year-old Alani Mickelson was last seen in the 9000 block of Cordes Junction. That's on the far northwest side. She was last seen wearing a gray sweatshirt with blue jeans. If you have any information about where she might be, you can call SAPD's Missing Persons Unit. The phone number, it's on your screen. It is 210-207-7660.
There were at least a dozen shootings across the country this weekend. According to the Gun Violence Archive, more than 7,500 people have died from gun violence this year alone. Of the 12 shootings over the last weekend, some took place in Ohio, South Carolina, Georgia. There was also a mass shooting this weekend at a house party in New Jersey. 2 people were killed, dozens wounded.
The community has been exceedingly clear. We need to bring the perpetrators to justice.
Not only do we want justice for our babies, we don't want these people out here to shoot somebody else's babies. It'll be another press conference because another family will be standing up here with us.
Of the 7,500 people that died from gun violence last year, at least 471 were teenagers, 120 were children.
Tragedy striking over the weekend overseas as well. 21 people died while they were trying to run in a marathon in China. Freezing weather conditions causing some runners in the 62-mile ultra marathon suffer from hypothermia. Marathon organizers called off the race and then had to launch a 1,200-person search party for the runners. As of yesterday, 151 of the 172 race participants have been confirmed as safe. 21 considered dead. 8 have been hospitalized.
Italy's transport minister investigating a cable car disaster that killed 14 people. Witnesses say the lead cable snapped, the emergency brake failed, the cabin couldn't stop, and it crashed to the ground 65 feet down. The only survivor of the crash was a 5-year-old. His parents, grandparents, 2-year-old brother did not survive. The disaster has raised questions about the quality and safety of Italy's transportation infrastructure. Now to the European country, Belarus. Authorities being accused of hijacking a civilian airliner.
Investigators say Ryanair flight was forced to land so that authorities could arrest a prominent critic of its authoritarian leader. ABC's Julia McFarlane is in London to sort this out.
International outrage. World powers accusing Belarus of an act of state terrorism. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, known as Europe's last dictator, facing claims of faking a bomb threat in order to intercept a passenger plane. The Ryanair flight from Greece to Lithuania was traveling Sunday with more than 100 passengers on board. As the plane approached Lithuanian airspace, it suddenly changed course, veering to the Belarusian capital Minsk. In a statement, Ryanair said the crew were notified by Belarusian authorities of a potential safety risk on board, possibly a bomb, and were ordered to land the plane. A Belarusian fighter jet scrambled to intercept the aircraft, but there was no bomb. Several European leaders say it was all a plot by Belarus's president to capture a prominent journalist on board, the 26-year-old Roman Protasevich. He helped lead massive protests against Lukashenko last year and claimed political asylum in Poland. The Prime Minister of Poland saying the hijacking of a civilian plane is an unprecedented act of state terrorism. US Secretary of State Blinken condemning the act, demanding Protasevich's immediate release. Passengers described the moment Roman Protasevich was escorted off the plane by authorities, crying out that he was facing the death penalty in Belarus.
The Belarusian authorities knew that if they mentioned bomb or if they mentioned a direct security threat to the airplane, that pilot would be obliged to get that airplane on the ground as quickly as possible.
The incident with Ryanair is top of the agenda at a special meeting of the European Council today. Leaders expressing outrage, many saying sanctioning Belarus is on the table. Julia McFarlane, ABC News, London.
Outside with live cams, always the question, is the sun out or is it not? There's some clouds out there. Is the sun out?
It's going in and out.
Is
it's going
it?
in and out. But you can kind of see there in the distance some of those clouds trying to grow vertically. So we know that there is some development taking place even here over San Antonio. We're starting to see some downpours. Let's start with the radar. Show you where the rain is. We've got some of the heavier showers out near Hallettsville. And that's where there are flash flood watches, by the way. We're still watching the threat for some flooding, although these showers and storms typically don't last too long. Then they move on to the north after dumping some brief heavy rain. But we're seeing some of that there, and then also around San Antonio, where downpours are still showing up, especially south of downtown near Palo Alto College, Mitchell Lake. We just saw a shower move right over top of you, and then we've got another one directly behind that. This is going to move right into downtown, it looks like, here within the next half hour or so. And then if you're out near Lackland, we mentioned you were going to get some rain. There it is. It's moving in. Everything is moving off to the north. And then we've got some more development just north of 1604 and along I-35 here. So there's going to be some wet roads. We had that good heavy rain this morning. We're going to see some more of that as we get into the afternoon. Looking at that flash flood watch I mentioned, it does include Gonzales, Lavaca County, DeWitt County. That's where we can see some of that heavier rain, and then over towards Houston. We'll keep an eye on this area. Some of those rivers and creeks are a little swell from all of this recent rainfall. Rain chances this week, they really do start to fall off. Today, probably our best chance this week, and then they fall off to about 20% by Wednesday. Another small chance on Saturday. And the forecast for today does call for that 40% shot of scattered showers and a few thunderstorms too. Temperatures will be up near 82 degrees for high today. Ursula.
Thank you, Justin. Reproductive trends in the U.S. have been shifting for years now, and now women could have more time to become pregnant than in years past. With more on that, here's Elizabeth Schulze.
Women in the U.S. may have more reproductive years in a later age of menopause than 40 years ago. That's according to a new study out of Temple University, University of Pennsylvania, and Columbia University. Menopause, the age when women stop having menstrual periods, may be occurring on average a year and a half later than before, now at an average age of 49.9. And the average age of the first period also decreased slightly. These changes mean that women's reproductive years, the time when women could become pregnant, increased to 37.1 years from 35. But after age 35, there are still risks for pregnancy, like miscarriage and certain birth defects. Later ages of menopause may decrease women's risk of heart disease, but may also increase the risk of some hormone-related cancers, like breast, ovarian, and endometrial cancer. It's always a good idea to talk to your healthcare provider or OBGYN to learn more about any risks you may have if you are to become pregnant. With this Medical Minute, I'm Elizabeth Schulze.
A chance to win a year's worth of travel for getting vaccinated against the coronavirus? Still ahead, details on how you can enter a United Airlines contest and how many people will be selected.
Plus, Song of the Year and Artist of the Decade, and a lot more. We're taking a look at some of the big winners from last night's Billboard Music Awards.
And next, Bitcoin's value goes on a roller coaster over the weekend. Details on who made it jump back up and how.
Never miss a story. Watch live or when you want. San Antonio's latest news and weather, streaming free on KSAT TV.
Also in your consumer news today, the cryptocurrency Bitcoin losing 13% of its value over the weekend. It was trading at about $33,000 per coin on Sunday morning, down significantly from its all-time high of more than $64,000 last month. However, it picked up $2,000 by Sunday evening when Tesla CEO Elon Musk tweeted his continued support for the crypto market.
U.S. home prices are now hitting record highs. The National Association of Realtors saying the median sale price for a home is at $341,600. That's up 19% from a year ago. Real estate experts say the record prices are because of market shortages, which is creating stiff competition, especially coming from the number of all cash buyers. Many real estate companies expect the housing market to flatten as the year goes on.
United Airlines, the latest company to offer vaccine incentives. The airline says vaccinated customers have the chance to win a year's worth of travel. From now through June 22nd, any member of United's Mileage Plus loyalty program can upload proof of vaccination on the company's website or app. 30 people will win round-trip flights for two anywhere in the world. 5 lucky people can win the grand prize and get free travel for the whole year.
All right, Justin, pay attention. I may need you on this one. The biggest music chart toppers of the year were honored at the Music Billboard Awards. Here's a look at who claimed some of the top awards. First up is The Weeknd. We know about The Weeknd. I can't feel my face with you. He was the big night's winner, taking home 10 awards, including Top Artist and Top 100 Song. The Weeknd also performed Save Your Tears, swapping backup dancers for cars and trucks.
I just know that I've spent an incalculable amount of hours trying to analyze all the things I did wrong, but tonight, for once, I'm sure as hell we did something right.
Aw, that's Drake after being honored as Artist of the Decade at the 2021 Awards. He brought his son on stage accepting that award. He spoke about what it was like in the past 10 years making his albums and dedicating the award to his family, friends, and fans. He's most known for his hits like Hotline Bling, One Dance, and God's Plan.
The K-pop boy band BTS lit up the 2021 Billboard Music Awards like dynamite. The English language single took home the award for the top-selling song last night, beating out Gabby Barrett and Charlie Puth's I Hope, Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallions. The with 2 E's?
No.
Correct.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. They looked it up earlier. WAP is the name of the song. The Weeknd's Blinding Lights and Megan Thee Stallions Savage featuring Beyonce. The with 2 E's.
That's right.
Okay.
It's so much fun to make you read these things. Bad Bunny took home 4 of 6 awards in the Latin categories, including Top Latin Artist. During the awards ceremony, the Puerto Rican artist gave thanks to his fans, saying, quote, "Without you, no award exists." Reggaeton stars Nula AA, J Balvin, Maluma, and Ozona were also finalists.
Well, at least I've heard of Cardi B and Beyonce. I've heard of them.
You know them.
I know them, and I know The Weeknd. You know, that's my
Justin is over there giving us the side eye like we're all crazy.
I'll give you a B+. B+.
Ooh, wow.
It's a good effort.
That's pretty good, though. For me, that's not bad.
79 so far today. 71 was the low this morning. The rainfall so far today, 0.7 of an inch. We're seeing a little bit more starting to move in. I'll look at the radar coming up.
Taking a look outside with live cam, we've been watching the sun come out and the clouds come out, and then it's drizzling over here and it's raining over there. When do we get out of this pattern? We just want some sun.
End of the week, we will start to see those rain chances really start to wind down early. It will get better, I promise. We have been in a very sort of soggy pattern here. In a quick somber anniversary, I want to remind folks it was 2015, on this day in 2015, that we had the big flood in Wimberley. That 40-foot wall of water came down the Blanco River, as you remember. Unfortunately, we lost some lives during that flood. It was huge. 13 inches of rain across parts of the hill country, one we will not soon forget. And it goes to show you that this time of year, we have to watch flooding so carefully. And today we are seeing some showers and storms. Thankfully, they're moving pretty quickly. We don't have a lot of flooding issues. There could be a few here and there, especially out towards Hallettsville and off to the east where they've had flooding issues the last couple days. But so far, just some quick moving showers. A little closer look there at Hallettsville. You're seeing some of those showers move through Gonzales, Shiner, Hallettsville, Cuero, down towards the Edna area. That's where rain will continue. And then here in San Antonio, we are starting to see these showers work their way into downtown. And just looking at some of the TransGuide cameras here, there was some pretty heavy rain starting to come down. So this is right along 281 there as it comes into downtown. And then right here in the city center, we are getting a nice little cell here. There's no lightning with this, but there is some good heavy rain right along Commerce, West Commerce, just west of downtown. And this is going to work along I-10. So if you're heading out of downtown on I-10, get ready. This is going to be a good downpour. I'm looking at some of the TransGuide pictures here. There's a lot of water on the road, so be careful. Don't want to hydroplane, take it slow. And then along Highway 90 there, starting to see some rain. And then on the south side of downtown, along 10 there, seeing some of that heavier rain starting to move in. And we'll see these showers and storms continue to push north. We're seeing more of that up towards the airport now, some activity there. So the airport's going to pick up a little bit more rain. And we saw some good rain this morning. So it's just going to go on top of what we've already seen. I mentioned that there are some flooding issues off to the east. Flash flood watch is in effect until 10 p.m. today for places like Gonzales, Cuero, and Hallettsville. Some of the rivers and creeks are a little bit swollen, so we'll have to keep a close eye on what goes on there. Meantime, I want to show you the time lapse. We're going to start it at 2 a.m. this morning. You can see kind of the waves of showers and storms coming through San Antonio. Got a good dose of rain, and then the sun came out, and now we're starting to see the storms again because we got some of that instability. 79, the current reading, 71 the dew point, south-southeasterly winds at 6. Most places in the 80s thanks to the sun, but when the rain comes through, it's going to cool us down a little bit. 81 New Braunfels, 84 Gonzales, 84 in Pleasanton. Dew points are in the 70s, so way up there. A little bigger picture, and you can kind of see the sporadic nature of this activity that's starting to bubble up here. And this will be the case through the afternoon. So our computer models do show scattered showers and storms, and that does show a few storms trying to develop a little bit later tonight out west. We'll see if those hold together. Another chance of some isolated stuff tomorrow, but then notice things start to clear out as we get into tomorrow evening and really as we get into Wednesday and Thursday too. Forecast today, 40% chance of rain. Will top out near 82, and we'll go with 85 tomorrow, 88 on Wednesday. Near 90 Thursday and Friday, and another very slight chance of rain on Saturday, although the Memorial Day weekend at this point looks pretty good, guys.
Thank you so much, Justin.
The homestand has not been kind to the San Antonio Missions. We got a recap of yesterday's game, and the Astros and Rangers battling out over the weekend. We got highlights of that, too. The Missions wrapping up their first full week of home games at the Wolf since 2019, but the homestand has not been kind to San Antonio so far, except for Ballapeno, of course. Missions taking on the Rough Riders, and both teams made impressive defensive plays early on. Chris Givens helps turn the 6-4-3 double play at the top of the second, but San Antonio's bat's very quiet once again. They only mustered 4 hits and 1 run over the 9 innings. So here's your final. They end up losing 6-1. San Antonio is 7-11. They have only scored 9 runs over the last 6 games. And here's the schedule. They're at Arkansas. The Naturals coming up Tuesday through Sunday. Hey, the Rangers were looking for a weekend sweep over the Astros. They are tied at 2 in the bottom of the 10th. 1 out, runner on third. Adolis Garcia. There's the pitch, and right back up the middle. Jose Altuve gets to it, throws to home, but it's too late. Nick Solik scores. Rangers win 3-2 and are 6-1 now in extra inning games. It's also their first sweep of the Astros in Arlington in 5 years. The Astros will have today off. They host the Dodgers for 2 days and the Padres for the rest of the week. The Rangers will hit the road to face the Angels on Tuesday and the Mariners on Thursday, and sweeping the Astros is a big deal for the Rangers.
Yeah. For sure. You know what is a big deal?
Mike?
Mike Osterhage and a big old burger.
Ooh. Ooh.
Start of summer. And coming up here, we are going to be firing up the grill and the best ways to cook a burger. And who else to tell us all the great tips? Shailene McNeil, Beef Loving Texas.
All kinds of fun tips. Get a lot of variety, a lot of deliciousness from Beef Loving Texans. And then I think after that, we're going to talk about new ways with these hot appliances to prepare beef.
For those of you that love to cook on a grill, you're going to go, we can use this for cooking beef?
It's going to be great, yeah.
She swears by it.
I promise, it works.
And after a nice big burger, you need dessert. Picture is kind of here all the rain. 2021, beautiful cup.
All right, it's raining cats and dogs, and our signal is kind of getting messed up there.
So, all right, well, we'll be back after this. Hopefully get all this worked out and the gremlins get out of there. We'll be back.